So Jeff Bezos has been talking about AI lately, and he said a couple of things that sound like they completely contradict each other. First, he's saying it's a bubble, but then he says it's the future. So, which one is it? Let's dive in and figure out what he's actually getting at.
Okay, first up, he drops this bombshell. He calls the whole AI boom an industrial bubble. Now, for a lot of us, that just confirms a fear that's been growing, right? That all this hype, all this money flying around, it just can't last. It feels like we're just waiting for the pop. But here's where it gets really interesting. Right after he calls it a bubble, Bezos says it might actually be a good thing for all of us. I mean, wait, what? How can a bubble, something we see as destructive, possibly be a good thing? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve. To really get his point, we have to understand that he's not talking about just any old bubble. It's a very specific kind. He's using this term, an industrial bubble. And the core idea here is that even when the speculation gets totally out of hand, and yeah, investors lose a ton of money, the sheer force of all that investment actually builds something real, something valuable and lasting that helps society long after the bubble bursts. And this is the absolute key difference. A normal financial bubble, that's just driven by hype. It leaves nothing behind but financial ruin. But an industrial bubble, that's different. It's built around a technology that's actually going to change the world. So when all the financial dust settles, we're left with all the cool, useful stuff that was built during the frenzy. And look, this isn't just some theory he cooked up. Bezos is arguing that we've seen this exact same story play out over and over again throughout history. I mean, just think about it. You had the railway mania back in the 1840s, the biotech boom in the early 90s, and of course, the big one we all remember, the dot-com bubble. Every single one was this period of crazy, sometimes totally irrational investment that was all sparked by some new revolutionary technology. And let's be totally clear here. In every single one of those cases, the pop was painful. Fortunes were just wiped out. Companies went under. A lot of everyday investors got crushed. The financial destruction was absolutely real. But, and this is the whole point, what was left behind after the carnage? The railway mania gave us a national rail network. And the dot-com bubble? It left us the fiber optic cables, the server farms, basically the entire backbone of the internet that we're using right this second. The individual investors might have lost, but in the end, society won. Big time. So how does this history lesson apply to what's happening with AI right now? Well, according to Bezos, we are seeing all the exact same signs. Just think about this number for a second. $2 billion.
That's how much was just pumped into a company that has only, wait for it, 6 employees. Bezos himself said that's very unusual. It's the perfect sign of a bubble, where investors are so focused on the future promise that they kind of forget about the present reality.
And it's not like Bezos is the only one saying this. The CEO of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, pointed out that when investors get this excited, they just stop being skeptical. They start ignoring all the risks, all the things that could go wrong, and they only see the upside. That's a recipe for disaster. The warnings are even coming from inside the AI world itself. OpenAI's CEO has said AI is in a bubble, and some analysts are even saying this thing could be 17 times bigger than the dot-com bubble. I mean, the scale is just mind-boggling.
Okay, so we've established it's a bubble. Got it. But now let's get to the optimistic part of what Bezos is saying, the incredible legacy that all this hype is going to leave behind for us. This is really the heart of his argument. He's so confident because underneath all the financial madness, he believes the technology itself is 100% real. He's totally convinced AI isn't just smoke and mirrors, it's a genuine revolution that, in his words, is going to change every industry. And this is why it all matters. All that investment, even the dumb money, is actually funding real progress. We're talking about huge breakthroughs in things like healthcare, speeding up scientific discovery, creating personalized education for every kid on the planet, maybe even finding solutions to massive problems like climate change. The potential win for humanity is just enormous. So when this AI bubble eventually does what bubbles do, pops, or at least corrects itself, what are the leftovers going to be? It's not just a graveyard of failed startups. It's the massive data centers, the powerful new computer chips, all the open source models, and an entire generation of scientists and engineers who are experts in this stuff. It's a permanent upgrade to humanity's toolkit. So what's the big takeaway here? If you're looking at it through Bezos's eyes, it all comes down to one really important distinction. On one side, you have all the financial speculation, the crazy stock prices, the media hype, the FOMO that makes people throw money at things. That part is loud, it's distracting, and ultimately it's temporary. But on the other side, underneath all that noise, is the actual technological revolution. That's the real progress. That's the algorithms getting smarter, solving real problems. And the biggest challenge for all of us is to learn how to separate the two, to see the real revolution happening through all the smoke of the speculation. And all of this leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought, doesn't it? Is this just how massive progress works? Do we actually need these chaotic, wasteful, and sometimes painful bubbles to fund the giant leaps forward that end up reshaping our world? According to Jeff Bezos, the answer might just be yes.